Okay, so in this video we're going to be continuing our review of the Millennium Trilogy. So our last video we covered the girl with the dragon tattoo. Today we're going to be doing the girl who played with fire. Alright, so first let's cover artwork again, like we did last time. It's pretty good, like I said. It's at best A, at worst C. There are some C areas in this. There are some print issues as well. Some words are missing letters and not finished. I saw that about 3 times. No more than that. But no less. As far as the story goes, it was a bit confusing because I hadn't seen the film based off of this novel. There is a film based off of this, but I believe it is a Swedish-based film. And there has not been an American version made. But I haven't seen it nonetheless. And there are just some similarities between this novel and the second film to release in America called The Girl in the Spider's Web. There's some differences as well. So I was having trouble figuring out what exactly was going on in the entire universe of the series because certain things weren't adding up. Such as, in The Girl Who Played with Fire, our main character is Lisbeth, and she has a sister. And The Girl in the Spider's Web, main character is Lisbeth as well. She has a sister. In both scenarios, both stories, they have an abusive father, and their mother is abused and or killed. I think both killed as well. But in The Girl Who Played with Fire, Lisbeth attempts to kill her father and then runs off and is committed to a psych ward, and her sister just leads a normal life as a civilian. But in The Girl in the Spider's Web, Lisbeth does the same thing pretty much, but her sister becomes a villain working for her father, and pretty much the main villain in that movie. So it's just odd, if these exist in the same universe, how this can be, because it cannot be. It's a contradiction of her sister. In one story is just a civilian, and in one story is a criminal mastermind. It doesn't really make sense. The Girl with the Spider's Web is not based off of this movie, and it does have its own graphic novel unrelated to this trilogy. So I think it's just one of those cases where it's a retelling of a story from a different perspective, but it's not necessarily canon, and it doesn't mean a whole lot to the actual trilogy. So let's get back into the story. I have not seen the Swedish film, like I said, of this graphic novel, so I did not know what to expect. I went into this blind, and I was, again, pleasantly surprised. It's a good story. I wouldn't say completely surprised because The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was great, and so it doesn't shock me that this is another good story. I actually like this one a little bit better. There's more action. It's a lot quicker. Less prodding around and more people just getting things done and taking action, whether it's good guys or bad guys. I like that. Our main character, Lisbeth, has to deal with some adversity in this one. She really doesn't have to deal with any adversity in the first one. As well as our co-main character, Michael Blomsk, the investigative journalist playboy. He deals with a little bit of adversity, but he's been dealing with adversity since the first one, so there's nothing new. It was just good to see our main character not be a total Mary Sue and be untouchable by anybody. So there's a little bit of realism added in there. There's still some moments where you have to suspend disbelief as to what she's doing, such as beating up a grown middle-aged man while she weighs about 90 pounds. It's a little bit unrealistic, I would say, to say the least. But I don't really want to spoil too much of the story. It's pretty good. The artwork, like I said, is great for the most part, with some down areas. Let me think, is there anything else that I need to say? There's not really any twist. I mean, I guess there is a twist. But like I said, if you've seen The Girl with the Spider's Web, there is no twist. Because the only twist that you could get from this book is that Lisbeth's father is the main big bad guy who she is actually up against in this graphic novel. I'm going to spoil that much. But if you already have watched The Girl in the Spider's Web, you already put that together because there's enough similarities between these stories that you already figured that out. Like I said, the only difference is the sister is not also evil in this. So for those who haven't seen The Girl in the Spider's Web, well, kind of ruined it for you now anyway. But if you had read this without seeing that movie, it would be a twist. Otherwise, it would be expected. But I think that does speak to the level of writing and storytelling here. That is actually still a good story when you could already know the major plot twist of it and still be entertained throughout the entire book, which I was. Like I said, I believe this one was a lot better than the first one. It was paced a lot better, a lot less convoluted, and more action. Not a ton of action, but just more action. And a little bit more of our main character being vulnerable, which is always good. I like that. So, I would definitely recommend, just as I did the first one.